All the betting trends you need to know from the world of footy. This is the Snapshot.
Hello again, punters, and welcome back to the Snapshot, the first Snapshot for season 2025. And joining me for the third year running is good friend of Neds, Tommy Rockliff. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Ryan. Looking forward to the season. It's been a big off season, 5 months, I think, since we've spoken on air anyway. But looking forward to what might be for season 2025, and I think it's going to be the year of the Lion again. How your Hawks are going to go? Are they going to climb up? Or are they going to drop down? It's really looking forward to the season.
We're going to dive into all the futures betting, and round zero isn't without complications. We're already hearing that Brisbane's game might be postponed this coming Thursday night, so we're not going to tip any Thursday night footy this week, Rocky, but we're going to get into the futures, like I said. We'll start with the rising star. Here's the market for you. Levi Ashcroft, $4. Harvey Langford, $8. Sid Draper, $10. Is this an open and shut case for Levi Ashcroft?
I think it is, yeah. He's been super impressive in the first 2 weeks, been lucky enough to go out and watch the Lions in their triple header, or whatever you want to call it, against Collingwood and the Gold Coast. He was impressive when he came on. And then the other night, he just snuck up against the Adelaide Crows. You didn't really notice him that much, which is a really good thing for a first-year player, to be able to slot in and not notice him. He ended up nearly having 25 disposals and just flew under the radar. He does that week in, week out, then I don't think anyone in the competition is going to be able to beat him. I think $4 is very juicy, and it's worth a little flutter.
Yeah, this is one of those markets where if you don't get in early, the odds tend to shorten very quickly. We could be looking at Levi Ashcroft around the $1.80 mark in 2 weeks' time. We'll jump ahead to the Coleman Medal. This is one that we talk about all year long. It's always a bit of a 4 or 5 horse race. This year, no surprises. At the top of the market, we got Charlie Curnow, $5.50. Jesse Hogan, the reigning Coleman Medal winner, $5.50. Jezza Cameron, $11, bit of value there. And then Nick Larkey, $13. Do you think Hogs is the obvious choice here?
Nah, Cameron for me. Jesse Cameron, the one you just mentioned with value. I think he's going to be the one. No Hawkins there this year. He's going to be the main man in that Geelong 50. They're going to blow teams away at certain times down at their home venue in Geelong. So he'll kick a couple of big bags and wrap it up. Curnow, you know, a little bit of injury concerns heading towards round one, whether he can get up and play. And it looks like he may miss a little bit of footy. So I think there's value around that. And I think Jesse Cameron at the $11 mark is the value. Hogan's obviously going to be tough to beat again. We know that he won it last year, but I think Cameron may be able to wrap it up in 2 or 3 games when he kicks. He's capable of kicking 10, 11 in a game.
No, I tend to agree with you there. I think Jez is way over the odds of the $11. Jump on now while you can, punters. Let's get to the Brownlow. Nick Dacos, $5. Paddy Cripps, $8. Isaac Heaney, $13s. And then you got Caleb Sarong, who one of your favourites, $15, Rocky. Look, I know you're a man. You're all about the Bond. You tip the Bond every single week on this show. He's out for 6 weeks with a calf complaint. Can't back him for the Brownlow, so where are you leaning here? Yeah,
well, you can't back him, but it's probably the year he probably comes out and wins it, because you give him no chance whatsoever. I mean, when the AFL CEO's wife gets up Brownlow night and says, "Oh, he's no chance," probably a good indication that he's not going to win it. But I'm leaning towards a favourite in this one. I watched Nick Dacos a couple of weeks ago at the Gold Coast. He just looks prime. He's doing a few other things defensively, and he got his head in a few contests, which has probably been a slight knock on him in the past, ability to win that tough inside footy. If he does that, adds that element to his game, he's going to be near impossible to beat. We know Paddy Cripps, he just loves getting votes from the umpires, but I think it's almost a one-horse race this year. I think Dacos, if he stays fit and healthy, plays 22, 23 games, he'll be a runaway winner.
What do you think about a couple of guys that have battled through injuries? Because I'm looking at Will Ashcroft and Sam Walsh floating around that $21 mark. Could you entertain either of those?
I don't think so, only being the fact that their teammates going to take votes off them. Paddy Cripps, we just spoke about, we know that he just attracts votes from the umpires. We've seen what he was capable of doing last year in the Brownlow Medal. I mean, we've got winners in the 40s now. It's crazy to think that. Lockie Neal always polls well as well. Dane Zorko. There's too many in that Brisbane team that are going to take votes. I think Dunkley as well. So Ashcroft and younger Ashcroft as well. So I think Dacos, you think about Collingwood's team, who's going to take votes off him? I don't think there's anyone there. Potentially Josh may pinch a couple, but there's no one, like a Pendlebury's a little bit older, Sidebottom's a bit older. There's no one, Houston across halfback. I think Dacos is just going to be the feature for Collingwood all season. He's going to be the number one man. He's going to be the number one man week in, week out, where those other teams, I think Carlton, they can mix and match a little bit. Brisbane can mix and match a little bit. So I think Brownlow medal, it's just all in Nick Dacos as long as he plays all year.
Yeah, look, I've got a couple of notes here from the bookies, and the punters tend to agree with you. Dacos, not surprisingly, has been the best backed in our Brownlow medal market. Couple of names, though, to throw at you, Rocky. The worst result for the book is actually Isaac Rankin, who's $101. And then there's been a bit of interest for Will Day as well at the $51 mark. So those are probably two names to watch as the season progresses. We'll jump into the premiership market now. Look, it's going to be really tough to pick a winner from here. It's a wide open market. Brisbane, $7. Hawthorn, $8, which, I don't know, that might be a little bit too short. And I'm a Hawks fan, coming off only one successful season. And we were talking about this club last year potentially being a wooden spoon candidate. So those are crazy odds. And then you got Carlton, Swans, GWS, all on the same line of betting, $9. And then Collingwood and Geelong, $10. Worst result for the Neds book, Essendon and Collingwood. And then the best backs for the flag, Lions and Collingwood. Give me a take on this, Rocky.
Well, again, you look at the season last year, Brisbane the same. Brisbane round 8, you're talking about them missing finals, potentially looking at a rebuild, throw a few guys in for surgery. They go on this mad run, win the grand final. So I think you can't go past the Lions. I think they've got better again, which is a scary thing. Their forward half, we know that Danaher has retired, but Logan Morris, Gallup looks like he's a player. Hitwood looks like he's going to be back to full fitness. They've got weapons in that front half. Their midfield's got better again. I don't know how. Oscar McInerney's back from the injury. Their defence is rock solid. They're going to get better again when Kitty Coleman comes back. How could you possibly go past the premiers of last year? I think it's theirs to lose. I think Sydney will be good again. I think they've had a couple of bad losses. Dean Cox will shift a couple of things. I think they'll get better. We know that Goulden's going to miss a large chunk at the start of the season, but they'll be cherry ripe come finals time. Collingwood improve. Hawks, for me, they're going to be the big sliders, and that's just my personal opinion on it. I think teams are going to study them a lot more. Started the season 0-5. People probably didn't give them the credit that they deserve. They found a way to get their season up and going, snuck in, won a final, and then they look like they're on the right track. But I think teams are going to study them. The challenging thing this year is how do you get 12 teams into 8? I think it's going to be a real arm wrestle from, say, positions 3 to 12. It's going to be a mix and match. So Brisbane, for me, are clear standouts. I don't think Essendon will sneak in. I don't think they're good enough yet. And, Collingwood will be better again. Whether they can win it, I don't think so.
Yeah, look, you hit the nail on the head there, I think, Rocky. Brisbane has the depth. They've got the best midfield in the competition. Hawthorn has expectations this year. How that plays into their psyche as a young club, I think, is going to be fascinating to watch. I think a team like the Crows can sneak into the 8, but we'll get to that in a sec when we talk about our multi. The last bit of futures betting I want to talk about, and these are some juicy markets, exotic markets on the Neds app. Go and check them out if you haven't already. The first one, I know you're really keen on this one, any player to have 50-plus disposals in a match, $9, including finals. Look, if you went 3 or 4 years back, you'd consider someone like Tom Mitchell that could potentially hit this number. Who are we talking about now, though? Dacos, Clayton Oliver, all of the above? I
think so. I think this is the bet of the year. I think if there's punters out there, they need to jump on the Neds app and crunch this. 9-1 for a bet that is alive from opening round until the grand final, and the only way it's not alive is if you win it. Like, it's one of the great bets, I think, at $9 as well. You've got Dacos, who went close over the last couple of years to 50. I think he's got better again, which is scary. You've got Lachie Neale, who finds the footy. You've got Clayton Oliver, you just mentioned, who's getting back to his absolute best. He may be the number one midfielder there for a while with Petrarca. We don't know how far away he is. It has to be one of the best bets, I think, on the Neds punting app. I would jump in there. 9-1 to keep a bet alive all season. It's worth a little flutter of $5. I think that is incredible odds for a bet that is live for the whole season. Includes finals, so you've got all the way up to the grand final. You're alive the whole season unless you win it, which I think you will win it. I think someone will have 50. They find the footy. Dacos is hard to stop. He gets a lot of 1, 2, 3s. Lachie Neale. There's so many options out there of ball winners that can potentially do it. I think it's a really good bet. Sarong over in Perth as well. It's one of the best bets, I think, on the Neds app.
Rocky's calling it. There you go, punters. It's a fun bet to follow as well throughout the course of the year. Couple more quick hitters for you, Rocky. This one's longer odds. Brisbane to go undefeated at the Gabba, $26. Would you take that?
That's juicy. They coughed up a couple of games early on last year, but as the season wore on, they got better and better, didn't they? So I think it's worth potentially a little flutter, not too much, maybe $1 on that one. But yeah, they're pretty hard to beat at home, so it's a good bet as well.
And last one, any team to score 200-plus points in a regular season game. We've seen the Swans flirt with these kind of margins in the last 12 months or so. I know it's a big number, but I think $7, that's still a good price.
If Richmond get a couple of injuries early on, which is potential to happen, they may cop a 200-pointer. Like, Richmond are going to be good in 3 or 4 years. They've gone to the draft. They've recruited really strong. They've lost a lot of older players, but they are a chance to give up 200 at some point this year. And if they get a couple of injuries, that is worth...
Ryan and Rocky are cooking up another multi. Surely it gets up this week.
I like it a lot there, Rocky. All right, let's get into our first multi of the year. We're going to have a futures bet because we don't have a lot of markets available for round 0 as we record. Quick reminder, though, to the punters that you can check out the Neds multi-tracker. You can track everything like disposals, goals in real time. That is available on the Neds app. Rocky, give us a futures bet that we can follow.
Futures, Brisbane top 4. I think they're going to have a really, really solid season. Hard to beat, 2-1. So I think, that's worth putting in a multi.
Like it. I'm going the Crows to finish top 8, as I said earlier. Look, I know they can't win on the road. They struggle, but this is still a very talented team. They've got a deep list, and I think they're going to start to put things together. Those 2 legs, Brisbane top 4, Crows top 8, $5.
Ooh.
You can follow that one on the Neds app. Thank you again, Rocky.
No, thank you. We're jumping into this week. There's a multi this week.
We are, mate. We are.
Don't wrap me up yet. So let's jump into this week's multi. We're obviously going to leave the Thursday night game alone because it may be shifted to round 3. We know that there's a cyclone coming, but hey, it may hit New Zealand. It might not hit Brisbane. We never know with the bomb. But I'm going to take the Sydney Swans -1.5 at $1.90 to get the job done against Hawthorn. I think they win that game of footy, and with the line being so small, I think they win by at least 2 points. And then head to head, I'm going to take the Gold Coast Suns $1.48 against the Bombers.
Look, I like those 2 legs, even though you're backing against my Hawks. I'm going to go the under in that game between Sydney and Hawthorn. The last 2 have gone under the total, so I'm just going to throw that one in. I don't have a price right now because we don't have a market up on Neds, but I think we'll be getting something close to around $6 or $7. So stay tuned for that one on the Neds app. That'll do us for this week, Rocky.
Good on you, Ryan. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Ned's AFL Unpopular Opinions. Enjoyed the podcasts? Remember to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.